Hello everybody, this is Reggie time with another 8.5/10 video of my Bankroll challenge. Since the last video we've had a whole weekend pass by and I've played a grand total of 1 hour for various reasons, which I'll get into later. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. If you are watching this series, if you're enjoying the series, if you could just click the little thumbs up button on the YouTube page just to help me develop and grow the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if, as we're getting very close to the end of the month, if you like the content I've been creating and think you'd like to work with me, please get in touch with me via either my email address, my Skype, or whatever that's listed under the video. That's the end of the spam, but please, if you have been considering it, just get in touch. I don't do the hard sell, and who knows, it might work out great for you. So yep, I only played 1 hour over the weekend. I played a little bit Friday, which I think I recorded. I played about an hour on Saturday, had a really good session, but couldn't play much longer than that because we had a young man, what are we doing here? 8 big blinds, 5 blinds more, I guess you have to call with the king 9. Yeah, we give respite care to the parents of youngsters with learning disabilities. We had a young man staying overnight with us in our spare room. So I just played for around an hour, then had an early night because the young man gets up early in the morning, and it's not fair for me to have a late night when I'm giving care to people and then not being able to support them properly in the morning because I'm tired or what have you. So yeah, I didn't get to play too much, but never mind that, other things come before poker. And caring for someone who has been placed in your care is absolutely one of those things. We're just going to call here. We think he probably has an ace. We're going to hope to hit a 7, I think, which would be sweet. Instead, we get the offsuit 4, which isn't sweet, but never mind. So yeah, we didn't play very much, but I had a great week last week on Sky. My first week back on Sky, and with a little bit of rate back that I got, and I do mean a little bit of rate back, I ended up making £132 on my first week back at these penny stakes, which is way more than I thought was, well, not possible maybe, but way more than I thought was likely. So I'm really pleased with that. Hopefully moving forward, I can maybe win £40-50 a week, win £200 between now and Christmas, and then hopefully after Christmas be in a position where we can start taking some shots and mixing some 20-0 games in. By then, hopefully our bankroll will be up at around 450, 500, something like that, where we can take a shot and we can say, you know what, we're going to play 20-0 and we're going to add 20-0 games in, and if we drop back below £300, we're going to go back down to the 10 and 8 tables and grind it back up to 500 again. So when we get to around 450, 500, we're going to take a 7 to 10 buy-in shot at the 20-0 games. Not playing them exclusively, still playing the 10 and L, still playing the 8 and L, just trying to fill tables up, but then playing 3 limits, giving me way better volume opportunities than just playing 2 limits. I mean, I guess I could put some 4 and L in here just to fill this screen up, but I'd rather not play as low as 4 and L. Sorry, one more bit of housekeeping. We've had some comments that the volume hasn't been too high on my videos. I haven't noticed it when I've been watching personally, but some guys have mentioned it, at least 3 people, so it must be true. I have had a little tinker with my recording software. Whether it's improved the situation or not, I guess I'll have to wait for you guys to tell me, because as I didn't notice in the first place, it's not likely I'm going to notice any change. So if the volume is better on this one, please do say, and I can make sure that I use these settings going forward. If it's not better, then I'll put things back to how they were and try again. This takes a little bit loose from middle position, but with a green tag player in the blinds, it's worth opening. We get min 3-bet by Kung Fu Panda. We'll be taking a flop and hoping to see some black ones. Not a single black one, which is unfortunate. And then he just jams, which is probably either a very scared overpair or an ace king with a heart, something like that. Either way, we don't have anything. Again, same story as before. The ace-2 suited under the gun, a little bit loose by my standards, not by many people's standards, but certainly by mine. But when we have a green player in the blinds, but again, for the second time in a row, we get 3-bet with a loose under the gun open. Obviously, the two are connected, but that is kind of what happens. You know, the earlier position you open, the more likely you are to face a 3-bet from behind, just because there's more people behind that can have hands. We just get whoopsie right back here. I guess ace-6 is ahead of his range because he's 3x'd it. I really want to be calling too many 3x raises. So we just like 3-bet our ace with a block that's obviously got a decent blocker. And then we'll start checking at least one street. Give him a chance to stab. Give him a chance to like value bet worse to protection to bluff. 2's a really good card for us because it completely alleviates any kicker issues that we might have. I'm going to make us like a small stab. We try and represent like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, that type of thing. And he just insta-folds for a really small bet. I've noticed that lots and lots of Sky players, even the regulars, are not that into folding to 3-bets, which is why I don't 3-bet bluff too often. And maybe that was just a little bit of spite in that one because he 3-bet as one hand earlier, which of course should have nothing to do with it, but we're all humans. And sometimes that can creep in. It very rarely creeps into my game, but I mean, it's obviously nothing wrong with it. 3-betting ace-6 versus a button open. 3-betting as a bluff, of course. Could overlimp the 7s. We could isolate. I think the 7s we will isolate. If it was like deuces through 6s, I would probably limp. Not the worst flop for 2 7s. Just one overcard. Gonna bet here, just kind of charge draws and just to like try and protect my equity a little bit. Like if you just got 2 random overcards, a jack 10 or something, just have him check fold them rather than give him a free shot at spiking one of his 2 outs. When he calls, and we're going to check back the turn. And then it's going to be a question on the river: do we raise or do we call? And that will depend on how big he bets. I can raise fold here for sure. And he did have the flush, which is somewhat unfortunate, but never mind. It might be no, it's not too thin. How can it be too thin? He had lots of King X. He has some flushes, I guess. Whatever, basically. We river a set. If we don't river a set, then we either call or fold. We river a set, then we either raise or fold. And because I don't think he's going to fold one pair to the kind of size that I made it. Maybe I could have made it a touch smaller, but if we had the situation again, I would probably choose raise a decent amount of the time still. Keys and Soze got his aggressive boots on again. He's a strange kid, this Keys and Soze. He got the orange tag. He's definitely a regular, but he's not a good one. And I think he's quite limited with his bankroll because quite often you see him not topping his stack up. So he's like a regular in terms of like he plays a reggish type style. But do I think he's a good player? Probably not. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think he's good. We got the bottom here because of Tonka busting the last hand. We flop a gut shot, which we will see bet. And we don't think we'll take this table. There's now one of the fishers gone, Tonka's gone broke. There's 2 bad regulars and this barman who doesn't play many tables but seems to play quite well. So no juice at this table, so there's no Reggie. It's just that simple. I don't care what limit I'm playing. If I don't see much juice at the table, even if I think I'm better than Kaiser Soze, I think I'm better than Barman, etc. There's still not tons of juice in them. If I don't see tons of juice at the table, I tend to just get the hell out. Try and find at least one more table. Failing that, we'll try and find a few more pocket aces. We're having a typical Monday night, not great traffic situation on Sky here, unfortunately. There aren't too many tables running. I think I've just found a reasonable 8NL table. So we'll snap that one up. Options just posted here, then checked. Mystery VIP's link behind. Seems like there's plenty of dead money out there, so we'll just try and squeeze it up. And sadly, we do not pick the blind up, the pot up pre-flop, and we pretty much missed this post flop. So we're certainly going to check back the flop, and then, well, we're not just going to fold now. But yeah, the plan was check back flop there. If it checked me on the turn, probably stab at it. But we didn't get that far. Keeping scarring a lot because I would like an extra table. Getting more and more up to pace with these tables now. I'm finding 5 tabling and commenting pretty comfortable. We'll call here if this X guy calls. He doesn't, so now it's 24. We're not even getting at 10 to 1 implied odds, so we're our pocket 3s, so we'll just let them go. 8-7, probably a fault from middle position. As pretty as it is, it's not that playable from middle position. Hopefully going to flop a set here against Kaiser Soze, but we do the absolute complete opposite and get one of the worst flops we could have seen. This Van Dyke seems to min raise a lot. The 3-bet just to isolate, I think. If we get 4-bet, we've got a pretty damn easy fold. So we get Van Dyke out of the pot and we get called by Nelly. His range is going to look like pocket jacks, pocket 10s, ace queen, ace jack, that type of thing. If he's a reasonable player, if he's bad, he's probably going to have all pocket pairs in his range. Going to keep checking with my ace 9. And then just go for a value bet on the river. Wow, he's gone all in. I mean, we have to call here. Our hand is so under-repped. Wow, he just had the 10-7. Come to us, Nelly. Get your tag before you disappear. Get your fish tags here. To pot this turn, the 10's pretty much a break. If he's got a 10 or Jack Queen, then he's going to get the rest of my money. I want to charge draws, I want to charge King X. Guess I could just have jammed actually. Well, that's a really poor sizing given his stack size. Not too happy with my sizing there on the turn. I think I acted a little bit quickly. I think going all in would have been better there, or betting really small. But I think I prefer going all in. Just like maximising value from King X and his draws. Once our isolation raise, by the way, got called in 2 spots and we completely missed giving up with the Ace Jack, of course. Bluff when he gets Petra here because the trapping with like a Jack trying to induce a raise, or he is just doing some kind of weird blocker. But once he calls and the Queen of Spades comes over, our adventure's kind of over. And I'm not sure what I'm doing by raising that turn card. Wow, he just had aces. That's surprised me. Not sure why I raised that turn, but now we're racing we got there. I guess we just jam and hope he doesn't have a bigger flush. I think we raised the turn because he just min bet into us. But I don't know why I raised, because we're probably not going to get much forward equity. So I think it was a poor raise by me. Probably was a little bit distracted by the Petra hand. And we got that's a pre in position. Then still not sure about Petra. Still not sure. Can't figure him out. Let's search for him. See how many tables he or her is playing. See if we can find out a bit more. Petra. 2 tables. Doesn't seem terrible. Well, 2 tables is unlikely to be like a serious regular playing these stakes. It's a strange one to assess. Sort of the situation where you'd love to have some stats, so you could make a more accurate assessment, but we don't have them, so what can we do? Just checking the Ace Queen here. We can easily have the best hand. Don't need to bluff. And we didn't, but never mind. Let's see if we can't find one more table. Tables are starting to break this time of night. It's currently at 10 to midnight on a Monday night, so they're starting to break. The problem is that they break quite quickly, so you get on the table, you get up to maximum speed, and then you quickly drop away from maximum speed because the table dies as quickly as you get on it, really. Smart goats seems like a decent regular, so we'll try. I haven't been doing any of this so far. Now I'm beginning to know who like the regulars are and who the fish are. I will try and mix some more 3 bets in against regulars who I think might be capable of folding. Not against bad regulars. I'm just going to like 3 bet wide for value against bad regulars, but against good regulars like Smart Goat, I think he might be good. We'll be looking to just try and keep him a little bit off balance. Pretty good flop for us here with 6-4. We're going to bet really big and side call it off if we get jammed on, I guess. Just because we have too much equity to fold. And when Wubbsy doesn't bet, it's highly unlikely he has anything he's that keen on defending. How get it in is just about as bad a shape as we could have hoped. But never mind. Oh, I meant to bet that to flop there. It's a little bit too late with my bet. And we don't need to bet because we have the 6. Ace-9 off. Again, we're going to go for an isolation race with it. We'd have bet the flop or bet the turn, we would have got that through, but if we entered the dick, she'd be my uncle, wouldn't she? How weak Van Dijk was willing to get it in there. I think he's definitely going to fall into the bad and loose situation. So we're trying to induce some bluffs from Mattia. Didn't buy into it. And wow, he just checked back the ace on the turn. I wrote a massive post earlier for my Facebook group about how we could go and how passive these games were, how insanely weak they were in terms of how weak players were when it came to using their ranges aggressively. And then sadly, I somehow managed to fucking delete it all before I posted it. I didn't have the heart to write it again. It was about 8 or 9 paragraphs. It was quite long. Did not have the heart to type it all out again. But that hand was a good example of it. He just didn't jam his ace-queen pre. He didn't bet the turn when he improved. And then he just, obviously he's called the river. I'm going to call this against Van Dijk or Vardak because of how bad aggressive he is and how deep we are. Unfortunately, we've completely missed. But Vardak's the sort of player I love playing with. We have position on him. Hopefully, we're going to get deeper and deeper with him and be the guy that relieves him of most of his chips. That's what we'd like to happen. I mean, against someone like that who's playing like Vardak, I'm willing to get ace-queen off him pre-flop. Even for 130 big blinds. Because he's just playing so utterly aggressive. And I'm just going to check jam on him. He snap caught me there. He shouldn't have many 4s or 5s in his range. I'm going to let him do his bosh a massive betting and then just step it on him. If he calls with a pair, we've got equity. Wow, he has the ace-9. That is most disappointing. But again, whatever. We're unlucky he's flopped a pair there because he shouldn't ever have a 4 or a 5. We're lucky he's got his dominators, should we say. Maybe not that he's flopped a pair, but it might look a little bit spewy, but we've seen how bad and how quickly he's playing. He's going to make some big mistakes. He might just by betting hands that can't call jams or betting and calling it off with stuff like King, Queen and what have you. He's going to make an absolute ton of mistakes there. As far as I was concerned, we had the best hand pre, and on that flop, we're usually going to have the best hand post flop still. But rather than lead into him and then have him raise us and then have his range being quite strong, I decided to go for a check raise to allow him to stab with an awful lot of shit stuff and either commit himself with worse hands or just have to bet fold a hell of a lot. Sadly, it didn't work out, but never mind. I'm sure we'll have plenty more opportunities before the end of the session to win some chips from him, so long as he doesn't leave the table, of course. I think he's probably got a queen here, Nino, but we can't fold. Go all in to isolate and get Mattia to fold, hopefully. We don't get to fold, we get it in incredibly good though. Well, we did. Sadly, we did not hold. And our friend here is going to go to the... we're keeping green for now, but he's borderline going light blue. And this has a feeling that it might end up being one of those really frustrating sessions where people either run really good against us or we run into the top of people's ranges. But given how well I ran last week, I probably won't be in a position to complain about it. Quite enjoy seeing Vadark 3 betters here. Sadly, he doesn't. And as Phil Collins said, did we miss again? Looks like we did. Keeping a firm eye on table 5 here to see what's going on with Nino and Kaiser Soze. I believe Kaiser Soze cannot be bluffing here. He wasn't, but Nino had the answer to his questions. Not once he raised and then just carried on betting. There's not a chance he's going to be trying to bluff there against someone like Nino, who looks like they A, have a hand, and B, are willing to commit themselves. Up a really strong draw against Vadark. If he bets really big, we'll probably have to just raise and get it in. Because we can't just keep calling against him. He's going to make it too expensive. We call that bet, we miss the turn, we have to just check fold way too often. We've obviously got a ton of equity, so happy days. We actually make our hand. He just has A6, which again is just completely overplaying his hand, but we knew that about him anyway. We knew he's completely overplaying stuff. When we have a draw that strong against somebody who is just making oversized bets with hands that don't really justify his bet sizing, and then we just have to strap our seatbelts on and go with it. Because he's just going to pop the turn. We check call, he bet, he misses, we miss. He's just going to pop the turn. He's just going to get us off way too much equity way too often. So against a player like that, we just have to gamble with them, and just trust in maths and our equity. When Mantis drops that donks here, I'm just going to fold and just be very, very confident I do not have the best hand. He's just that type of player. Yeah, he floats 2 pair. He's incredibly transparent. He was at one point I had him tagged green until I checked him one day and saw him playing 6 tables, and I thought, oh, he's not just a fish, he's just a really bad regular. So he's been tagged as orange now instead. We have to be careful what hands we do play out of position against Vadark, because he's just going to make our life hell out of position to him. So we've got to be super careful. Right, you have... It's a good card and a bad card, because lots of his stuff got there, but we have the redraw. Just going to check call, or not going to bet and risk getting raised in this situation. I'm just going to bet. If he's got Jack 10, he's just going to call. If he's got a full house or a flush, he's probably going to raise, and we chop it up. King Deuce, look at that. Look what he's just done. Didn't actually see what happened, I just saw the showdown. He has to go into light blue. He's not like incredibly loose, but he is incredibly bad. hopefully we get that piece of the 17 before he almost inevitably busts his account for the night, or busts his table roll for the night, or whatever. Interesting to see how the other players adjust to, if they're capable of making the kind of adjustments that we are. Get a limp here because I don't want to get 3-bet by him and then be forced to pay like £1 to see a flop when we can maybe just pay, well, we can try to make us pay £1 to see the flop anyway. Then we're just going to fold at this point and just be ready for him. Not paying £1.10 to see the flop. He's just going to keep potting. He's going to be hemorrhaging red line there. And I do not want to get pocket fours in pre-flop for 180 blinds. Even though I think I could get it in with a marginal equity advantage, it would be very marginal. And I would imagine by the time rake has been taken, it probably would become a losing play. It's not something I've ever given a ton of thought to, like pre-flop stacking off ranges 180 blinds deep. But I wouldn't. Right, what we're going to do here is, are we going to? Yeah, we're going to lose this bottom table. We're going to focus on this very profitable situation we have at table 2 right now. We're not going to be playing short-handed, so for the time being, we're just going to have 3 tables. If we're finding a better table in the lobby, we're going to have it, but I'm not going to play short-handed and have my concentration taken away. Keeping our eye on table 1 for Vadak. Giving up on table 3 once our c-bet gets called and we brick on the turn. Just call the river if he leads, bet if he checks. Ace king. Again, incredibly passive play pre-flop. Oh, I was hoping that might have been time with the dark there with the ace queen. It felt like that would fall into my 170 big blinds pre-flop, get it in range versus him. The best hand you have a lot against Kaiser Soze. We do. He just gives up. I would have probably called the river, thinking that he only really has a 10 that plays that way. Like ace 10 or king 10 or something like that. Well, this traffic really has dropped off quickly tonight. I guess it's to be expected on a Monday night. It's most people's first day back at work. They'll be tired. They'll be whatever, getting ready for the rest of the week. It was something I observed in some of my videos before we started doing this challenge, that like Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Sky Poker really always seem to be quite bad traffic in terms of traffic. Just the standard 12x from the dark pre-flop there. We might start limping everything this table, actually, I think. Give him a chance to. He doesn't seem to be mad into 3-betting, but he just seems to be mad into like big raises. So I think the adjustment we're going to make is 3-betting wide for value, but do an awful lot of limping, hoping to induce a 10x open from him, or 10x isolation, or something like that. Gary turns up at the table. Disappointed when I saw somebody joining, but given it's somebody who's joining with what looks like their entire net worth, or their entire bankroll, so I should say, not too concerned. Another table coming up that's got, oh, beautiful, it's got a light blue tag player on it. We'll have that. Keep betting against Mantis, or it was called Mantis, until he raises. Let's see if we're going to check back this river. That feels dirty, the 4 of diamonds. It felt kind of heavy, did that card? Turns out it shouldn't have it, but I guess it would just have gone back call. Anyway, so we didn't really lose that much. I didn't lose out anything, I guess, by giving up. Players like Radak, they can make or break your week. If you get these guys around and you don't take any of their money, or in their kamikaze mission they end up taking you down with them sometimes, you really can upset your entire week. I mean, these limits, like the difference between, well, not these limits, it's a stupid thing to say. I hate people that say these limits, any limits. When you're like 200 big blinds deep, or so hopefully getting even deeper with him, right? He can definitely change your week. The difference between stacking him or him stacking us is like a 5 buy-in swing. And that's on a low volume site, 5 buy-ins is pretty reasonable. We won't be going for check raise, given that we know how he doesn't fold his medium strength stuff to big check raises when he probably should. I'm going to put check raise here. We have the second nut flush, and given how he plays, I find it incredibly unlikely that he plays any 2 pair or set that makes a board this way. So pretty damn confident we have the best hand. Small pot table 5. We just called a min raise under the gun with ace-10. And now all kinds of weird shit's happening in post-flop. We're just going to get out of the way. Oops. Geordie and Harrogate, but he fits in well. Well, he might be a rich Geordie. I guess he could be a rich Geordie. If he's not, he's probably, well, probably can't be a rich Geordie if he's sat at 8 and odd table with £3. So, he's probably not having a good time. Been to Harrogate a few times. Nice place. Very, very snobby. Probably absolutely fucking teeming with Tories. Really not my cup of tea of a place. And they've got a shit football team. In fact, they've got 2 shit football teams. Hopefully we win against Tonka. Don't, he just checks back ace-8 every street. Not even considering value betting. I'm not going to see right into Hendy because he just doesn't fold very often, and he's kind of a pain in the ass to have to your left because you're just handcuffed into making hands against him. Not much else you can do because the guy just doesn't fold. He floats pretty wide. He fights for pots. Doesn't fight for them pre-flop much, but he seems like he's a fighter post-flop. Or maybe I've just been running into him when he's had hands he deemed float worthy now and again, or when he's like made pairs that he's just not into folding. Maybe he doesn't float too light, but I've certainly seen him make I've certainly seen him make a reasonable amount of loose floats. Oops, again. Random misclick. We have an action pot on the Verdark table. It's fair to say we were absolutely rooting for Verdark to either fold or win. Either was fine with me. I'm just going to limp with the Jack-10 because I certainly want to see a flop with his hand and don't really want Verdark to deny me that opportunity. Hard to believe Kajasoze quits this table. He has a steaming wheel and he just decides, you know what, I've done for the night. Doesn't make much sense to me, but we'll take it because, oh, he hasn't quit, he's just, sorry, he's gone further to his eye. That makes much more sense. He's gone away from the shit seat into the good seat, or to a better seat. A massive part of making money at these games on Sky is quite simply just making the best hand and getting good value. You see so many multi-way pots, you can just forget about hoping to like do okay at non-showdown. It's just not going to be possible for you. The entire game revolves around making hands and getting value. And trying not to pay off when people do funky things like checkmate raise you and then bet turns and what have you. Just do fishy things that just get you in trouble sometimes. Again, we have to call here. This is one of the spots where we need to try and avoid paying off, but we certainly can't fold the flop for 3 big blinds. If he's betting really small, we're just going to have to call. But now he's bet 80, we can fold. We might be getting bluffed, but yeah, what can we do about it? Don't want to check call the river too. Kind of weird situations like where we're just kind of flopping lots of like decent draws and things, and then just not having anything develop really nicely for us. Now this will be a case in point. If Baz bets like £2 here, we just have to fold. When Baz bets 50p, we have a trivial call. And Baz just gets to win with A7. In some situations, flopping the pair plus the flush draw will be a good situation to check raise to try and get somebody off a marginal hand like A7. In these games, I don't think that's something you should be aiming to do, because I think people like Baz, well, most of the players in these games, none of them are capable, in my opinion, or so few of them are capable of folding top pair, particularly top pair when it's like ace-x. Most of them are just incapable of folding that to a raise, so we'd have like no fold equity against top pair. We just have to kind of like just flop really well and hope we turn trips or hope we turn two pairs or something, and then we can just start check raising for value. And I'm more than happy to see bet when I isolate and people when I'm missing the check fold to me, but when I don't have the initiative, I tend not to go for the bluff raise option, 2 option, to call this bet size against smart go, because he could be like value betting worse. 3 deuce, good for you. But when he bets a second time, when the flush card comes into the fish, he's going to have to let him have the pot. And this is one of those sessions where it's annoying, but I don't mind very much because it's at like really low limits. If I was having this session at 40nl or 50nl and I'm probably guessing I'm about 2 buy-ins down. If I was having this session at like 50 and I was 100 quid down, I'd be like fucking mega stressed by now. And I'd be on the verge of like fucking either quitting the session or tilting. So again, it really is demonstrating to me the power of being like massively overawed in terms of like mental game. I always knew it was important, but this challenge is making me understand how hugely important it is. I'm not sure this isolation race will work, but we'll try it anyway. Bet again against Hendy. Probably going to check something the river, depending on how big he bets. And he just goes check, so we don't have to think about it. Wow, Vadak somehow finds the full pre. What's that all about? And we felt pretty strong, but also pretty vulnerable. 10's a fucking absolutely diabolical card. So much Queen X you can have there. You can have literally every Queen X going. Queen King, Queen Ace, Queen 10, Queen 9, Jack Queen. We have to pay off this £1.10. Just, we beat all 2 pairs, don't we? So we have to bet. I would expect to lose a massive chunk of the time, but we don't, and that's why we have to pay it off. Really have no idea what the purpose of his bet was there on the river, and I would expect if you asked him what the purpose of his bet was, he wouldn't really know. Well, we'll take what little crumbs we can get when we're trying to recover what's looking increasingly likely to be a losing session. We've got Vadak and Baz who can turn things around for us just yet, and plenty of other green tagged players. So who knows? If we can keep 5 tabling for another hour or so, then we have a reasonable chance of keeping our streak going. Second time this player's min raised me. I'm not going to fold this time though, we're just going to check call him down. And I bet the river once he checks back. So your min raise probably has a total bluff, or with just like a hand like Jack Queen or some kind of draw, I would guess. Or maybe, who knows, well, fuck knows. He could have done it with anything, but we'll start trying to figure out that his min raise might well not try and figure it out. Right now I'm thinking now maybe he's the guy who just min raises quite often in position just to assume control of hands with a wide range. That's what I'm considering at the moment. And we'll see. We need to get to showdown with him in those spots to see what he's doing it with. Call the isolation sneaky with Baz still in the pot, given that we've got a really pretty hand. Completely missed, which is unfortunate. Sneaky bets, he's pretty much always going to have a strong hand when he bets into so many players. Although when he chooses that size, I'm inclined to believe he might not be that confident in his hand. This Vercon's doing an awful lot of over limping. Too much of my liking. An open limping too. He's going to turn to orange. Presumably he must have the red tag due to his volume. But we'll see. Con. Nope, it's just that playing one table at the moment, so who knows why he's got the red tag. He could just very easily have been a misclick. In fact, he's going to go completely untagged because I'm going to presume that's been a misclick. Probably have to 5-bet jam this versus smart go. This ace queen on table 2 if his 4-bets us. What a fucking enormous 4-bet though. Makes me a little bit nervous, but if he's ever 4-bet bluffing, he's making it way too big. Ace king, never mind. Oh, we're going to hit a queen. Are we going to hold? Yes, we do. We'll take that. So what was that? It was like 30 big blind. 3-4-bet, wasn't it? Tonka doesn't have enough money. It was tempting. I wanted to play my ace-6 on the button, but Tonka doesn't have enough money. Geordie could have just shoved on me. Glad we didn't now because the Rizzler kids decided he wants to have a hand. I don't think we can 3-bet, 5-bet ace queen suited versus the regular though. I just don't think we can. It's a token of my respect for smart gold that I'd take the 3-bet, 5-bet line, I guess. And I don't think he's like super nitty. We're going to lose table 3 because I have no interest in playing shorthand. I'm going to try to focus on Baz and Vadark. Happy to have 5 tables up with the full. Not that happy to have 5 tables up when they are 3-handed and we got like one really tedious regular and one fish with just like £6 or whatever. Or sometimes overlimp with the 9-8 suited, but really keen to isolate Baz as often as possible. Pretty good flop. Turn means we can stop bluffing or consider thin value betting, but I think I prefer the stop bluffing angle. Queen doesn't hit too much. It hits like queen 10, things we're already ahead of, so we're already behind 2. a guess. Like Jack 9's perversely got there, so maybe for 30 pence we have to call. And he had the whiffed gut shot. The low gut shot as well. Which is Verdark running that stack back up. That's what we like to say. I'd rather win it from Kaiser Soze. Nothing against Kaiser Soze per se, just rather hit it against him. I continue with my limping strategy for the time being. Seeing floats with Verdark is absolutely my nut priority. We get potted into here. We got potted into by Verdark being so deep we would call, but given that we're only £7 deep, or £7 something deep, we just let it go. A 4x ace queen with Baz being in the blinds. Smart Go appears to be getting a little bit out of line with his frequency of isolating Tonka. So we're going to take a flop this time with our 10-7 suited. This is where 10-7 suited starts getting a bit dicey. We call with second pair on the flop, and we like turn a flush draw, and like probably have to call again because we got like a gazillion outs. But he can never be bluffing because, well, just because he can never be bluffing, basically. It'd be nice to see a diamond on that river. That would have been a sweet river card. Maybe he just always fucking has it. Who knows? Again, this is where stats would be really useful because I just know Smart Goat seems to be a solid regular. He could be a fucking huge nit for all I know. Feels like he's getting out of line with his isolation, but first time we look him up, he's had it. So fair play to him on that one. I mean, we just fold the turn there usually if we don't pick up diamonds. We're picking up diamonds. I mean, obviously against his top set, we didn't have as many outs as we thought, but against his overpairs and things like that, clearly have a massive amount of equity, way too much equity to fold. But not many of our draws are actually getting there tonight, which is completely standard, but also quite frustrating, of course. But last week, plenty of draws got there, which is why we had the fantastic week. This is happening way too much of my liking. Pick up equity turn, brick river. Needs to stop. We're going to 3-bet Smart Goat again. Here are we? Here we are. 3-bet fold with the King Queen. We're not going to. Are we going to? Yes, we are, I guess. Tonka goes all in. We're now trapped into calling. Almost certainly behind. And we're flipping. Not anymore. Yeah, interested in spot on this river. Because he could just have a straight and do this, I guess. Which he did just have, which is pleasant. There's your implied odds right there, folks. And now we cover Verdark for the first time, which is interesting. And it kind of makes a good point that I saw years ago. There used to be a player who made videos on Deuces Cracked called Grindcore, I think, showing what a fucking nerd I am. Now called Grindcore, a Dutch player, and he was a fucking crusher. He was a major, major crusher. And he used to, when he had a player like Verdark, who was deep stacked at his table, he'd gamble. He'd take like really marginal spots, that were like close to being neutral EV, just so he could fucking try and build a stack up so he could cover the play he wanted to cover. And I guess that's the point there. If we think that's close, it's probably worth taking the gamble, because when we do end up with the best time, which we're going to do a lot of the time, it massively increases our stack. So we now cover the dark, which is a nice thing to do. If you want me to expand on that point more, because I butchered it slightly, please just ask me whenever you see the video at. Please ask me about it. But essentially the point is, sometimes it's okay to make some more marginal calls if, like, a byproduct of making that call and winning is that you then get to cover a particular player at your table that you want to cover. And it looks like this Austin might just be kicking off a little bit now, so we'll bear him in mind for the next few hands. Opened several pots recently, and then first chance he's had is been 3-bet, so we're going to be preparing for him, preparing to treat him like a really bad player. In fact, we're already going to light blue tag him. Might be a bit previous, but we'll see. I'm not going to slow play my set here. We are fucking ridiculously deep, and there's all kinds of shit turn cards, so he's going to make a substantial raise and hope he has something. Turn a full house. That alleviates my flush draw concerns, obviously. But we still need to make a raise here so we can jam the river for less than pot. So even though lots of players will be tempted, and even though we've got the fold there, and lots of players will be tempted to like just slow play there, I want to stack him. I don't want to just win 90 pence and win another fucking, give him a chance to bet £1.50 on the river. I don't just want to win another £2.60 there. I want to win another £10.84. So I'm going to raise again when he donks and hope he has something he can stick around with, rather than think, oh, to remember full house, now I can slow play. Because if you slow play too much, you never win any big pots, because you never fucking build any big pots. You get someone like Austin, who's not really showing a tendency to want to fold, and is and what have you, then every time I get a chance to bet or raise versus him with a hand as strong as a full house, I'm just going to take it. And if he folds the bottom of his range, then so be it. He folds the bottom of his range. I'm not going to lose an awful lot of sleep over it. We're going to stick with the video until Vadark and Austin and what was his name again? Baz. Well, we've got these good tables. We're going to stick with the video. If it ends up being another 2-hour video, then fantastic. And we're just doing a quick bit of maths. We're not that far off even for the session all of a sudden. We started the session with 237. We've currently got 150, 180, 203, 226, 234 and change. So we're down less than half a buy-in at 8-0. Fair enough, we sucked out earlier on. Smart go, but we'll take that. Another table about to come up. For some reason, Sky's doing its fucking moronic thing, and I still cannot figure out why the fuck it does it. But all of a sudden, the tiling thing doesn't fucking work anymore, which is quite a major irritant, to be completely honest. I don't know why it does it. If anyone does know why it does it, please do let me know. I don't know if it's just a bug or if there's like something I'm not doing right. I don't know. Defend the Queen 10 suited this deep with Hendy in the blinds too. I'm going to lead when Smart Gut doesn't bet that flop. I'm inclined to believe he doesn't have very much. Or at least it doesn't like his hand much, and when we pick up the good shot to go with a flush draw. Seems like a very easy bet. Sadly, we completely brick out, so we're not going to try and bluff Hendy, who had the Jack-6. Here we go against Vadak. How tempted am I to get 300 blinds in pre versus him? I wouldn't be super excited by it, but I don't think I would shy away from it either. I think we would just have to go with it, and if he... Would we have to go with it? Well, we're not going to need to answer that question now, so really not a big problem. Really good turn card for us. I'm going to bet this turn, and then we're going to check call most rivers, I think. Allow him to bluff with all this like mist stuff, or... Wow, I think we just have to call here. It's really gross. Don't see what 2x he can have. King 4. Wow. That was fun. I enjoyed that one. So I can know 1 hour 7 minutes into the video for people who can't watch the whole video. 1 hour or 7 minutes, because that was a hand worth. It was a hand worth watching. But hopefully, to have it in context, you have to have seen the whole video to this point, so you can, or at least from when we started playing with Vadak. And that really does show the value of sticking at tables with these types of players. It shows the value of understanding like how you have to completely and utterly adjust your ranges for these manic type of players. And just all of a sudden now we just start with like a 60 big blind stack. We've gone from being stuck 2 buy-ins to being probably up close to 3.5, I would say. And it's nice. And we didn't jib it. You know, I would have jibbed that. If that was a 50-L hand against a Maniac, that was £150. I'm not sure I would have the confidence to go with my read. Because we're playing well within our bankroll, we have the confidence to go with our read. And that is it's massive evidence of what I've been talking about since the start of the session, since the start of the videos. You guys who have gone through the whole thing. That really is exactly what I've been talking about. You know, if you want to be in making the big plays, making the big calls, making the big bluffs, etc., you have to be truly comfortable with the money that you're playing for. And that hand exemplifies that better than that, and words never could. Hendy almost never bets, so we're just giving credit. Trunk and jams here, we have to call with the set, obviously. With it being a limp pot, 4-5 is obviously in his range. We're now going to lose the... I'm just going to put Tonkerall in here and check full to Rizzler. And then we're going to set our next big blind at the table where we've just taken out the player that we were aiming to take out. And we do get to finally eliminate Tonka for the evening. All of a sudden everything's coming up rosy, which is nice. And we're still going to keep the video going while Austin and Baz are around, unless we drop to 2 tables, and then at that point we'll be leaving. Not grimming your chip fat, I had a hand and now I'm leaving. This isn't going to work, is it? This tiling thing? Nope, it isn't, but we'll just do it that way and crack on, I guess. Yeah, I was about to talk before we stacked Vadark. I was about to talk about the Sky reward system and how, ironically, last week I made more from the Sky reward system than I typically did playing my higher stakes games, just because of the 6 tabling as opposed to the 2 and 3 tabling I typically do. Not a huge amount of any difference, but if I put the right amount of volume in, I think we can make an extra maybe £10-12 a week, which is significant towards the challenge, when we think we're only hoping to make 40 quid a week for the next 4 weeks to be able to move up. If we could add an extra 40 quid on top of that with a little bit of shit rate back, and all of a sudden, hopefully by Christmas or sooner, we can start mixing some 10-20 in there. Although I'm not mad keen to move up and play them straight away, because at the moment I'm just really enjoying the grind. Didn't think I would, to be honest. I thought I'd be in a mad rush to get out of these limits, but it's been going really well. It's been super chilled. I've been making an amount of money that I'd be comfortable making week in, week out. If I thought I could make £100 a week playing 8 and 10 and L, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, I might be losing my fucking mind, but if I didn't say it, I'm going to say it now. If I thought I could make £100 a week playing 10 and 8 and L poker, I'd be happy enough with that, and I wouldn't be in a huge rush to get back to playing 30 and 40 and L. Because even though I can make slightly more money in those games, the thought of just making 400 quid, maybe 450 quid a month, completely stress-free, playing 8 and 10 L, that'd do me just nicely. Right, what I'm going to do for a second, I'm going to pause the video while I fix this fucking bug. What I have to do is I have to close the tables, close my browser, and reopen them again. It's very annoying, but it only takes a minute. So we're back, and while you were away, we lost 2 more tables in short order due to them breaking, so this video might not run. As long as I expect it to, because we don't really want to be 2 tabling. But I am just in the process of getting a 3rd table. If we can get a 4th, we'll continue for sure. But at the moment, let's have a look. I'm at every 10 table that's running, and there's 1 and 8 table that I'm going to get on the wait list for. So at the minute there's only 4 tables running that fall within our remit for Bankroll, so it's every chance that if 1 more table breaks, I don't want to because of these, but if one more table breaks, if we can't get 4 tables, I will probably just end the video and we'll continue my session. In fact, what I'll do, I'll pause the video now. I think, will I? No, we'll stick at it while we got 3. If we go down to 2, I'll pause the video, but if any interesting spots come up, I'll quickly unpause the video and talk about them. In fact, no, we'll do that now because whatever. So we're going to pause the video now. I will come back with an end of the video, but we might pop in with some hands between now and the end, depending on what happens and how long the games run. So the session never really got kick-started from when we ended. We played for another 20 minutes and a bunch of nothingness. We ended up with just 1 table and we just left it because I've got better things to do at 1:10 in the morning than play 10-0 poker. So we're going to fill in the spreadsheet. This is how we look so far. We played like 12 hours, 125. As you can see, we haven't played since whenever that was, Saturday night was it? So it's now it was it 28th, 29th we started. We'll call it the 28th for argument's sake. 16. Live, it wasn't live, but Sky doesn't exist. It was mostly 5-10 with a bit of whatever. No limit. Buying for 60, that's what I always put. We started the session with 237. We ended the session with 269, which is really nice. So that is a profit of 32. So that goes to 92. Where's my notepad? We started at 23:30. We ended at about 1:10. So that's what I'm going to call it 90 minutes for argument's sake. Because we'd have a little bit of downtime with the 6 table. So we played for 1.5 hours. And we're just going to put 60 there because it doesn't matter one bit. So that's now updated us to £157 profit in total, which is beautiful. Currently running at £11.85 an hour, which clearly won't last, but we'll take it while it is. And we played 13 hours. So yeah, Sky continues to be behaving itself, which is nice. And we've logged 6 winning sessions in a row. I mean, that's going to end eventually, of course. Eventually, we're going to book a losing session, but we're going to ride this baby all the way till it runs out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you especially enjoyed the big hand of the video, like the pivotal point of the video with the dark. I know I certainly did. And then we'll be back with another video later in the week. I aim to do at least 3 more in the next few days. So hopefully we'll keep churning it out. Hopefully you guys will keep watching them and keep hitting that like button. But we'll leave it there and say goodbye for now.